Sporting Journal Radio, presented by Onyx.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brett Amundson. Thank you for tuning in right here on Facebook or YouTube, or by listening to this radio station right here, or by subscribing to the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We're in Michigan right now at the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers annual conference, and our next guest is the guy that got me into AGLOW, really, the one that introduced me to it, Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how you doing?
Welcome to Gaylord, Michigan.
Yes.
Isn't it nice? I get to see you virtually and, on the camera all the time. And if we're going to meet in person, where do we go? Let's go to Michigan.
That sounds good to me. It's funny. We were talking about it the other night around the campfire, I think, and we were saying, gosh, we haven't seen each other in so long. I'm like, Joe, I feel like we see each other at least once a week.
Yeah.
It's just through a computer screen.
Exactly, yeah. It is. It's good. I was excited to hear you're coming. I know at first you weren't sure if you could make it, and when I heard that you and Dan were coming, I was like, wow, that's cool. So, and it was. You're happy you're here, aren't you?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
And I should say, too, I don't know, for people listening, we had the Awards and Craft, AIC Awards last night, which really give great recognition to people in the outdoor industry who are doing different forms of media. And so I won a couple of awards, and it was very, very nice. And so Brett Amundson comes in, and I think he won like 12. He freaking stole the show. So congratulations to you.
Joe, it wasn't 12.
How many was it?
It was 11.
11, okay. So you missed him by one. Well, that's a pretty good guess, but kudos to you. 11. And, all BS put aside, I'll tell you something. It's a great honor, and it just speaks to the quality of work that you guys are doing. So to get recognized by your peers, isn't that great?
Absolutely, yeah. And I was kind of amazed. It was this show that won the majority of those awards, too. And one of them featured you, as we talked about what the Northwest Angle went through as that turmoil was going on up at the Angle last year. It's great to be here. And it's kind of award season because they announced the Emmy nominations. So Prairie Sportsman had 9 Emmy nominations, and then this happened. And then you just won another award too, right?
Yeah, yep. So I won a couple for writing articles and things with AGLOW, the AIC Awards last night.
Right,
and yep. And one was about the Northwest Angle Guest Ice Road, and another one was, I think the title was Putting the Hurt on Stained Water Walleyes. And then I also won another award, a year or two ago, USCCA, United States Conceal and Carry Association, and Delta Defense. They put out an opportunity to write an article about a topic that had to do with what they deal with. And my goodness, if I didn't win first prize on that one. So that was a nice honor, too. So 3 awards. And, in what I do for tourism, being a subject matter expert when it comes to the outdoors and fishing and different things like that, it's very, very helpful because of our destination and because our destination is an outdoors destination. So to get a little recognition for the hard work once in a while, it's not a bad gig. The other thing I learned though, Brett, if you're going to win an award, you got to submit your entries. Mm-hmm. Before I've just been so busy all the time, and I didn't submit entries. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start submitting some of my articles. I get nice compliments on them, and it is nice. I'm glad I did it because now all of a sudden, you get a couple of awards coming in, and now just like you, Brett, it's not Joe Henry, it's award-winning Joe Henry. Right?
That's right. I'm sorry. Rewind the tape.
Yeah.
With us today is award-winning journalist Joe Henry here from the Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, we were laughing about it, but again, kidding aside, it's just nice recognition of, and the people that are judging are your peers.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Well, and they went to across the nation, so it was nobody from AGLOW that judged. It was industry experts around the country.
Right. That way, there's no bias.
Right.
Yep.
Why don't you explain why you think AGLOW is important, Joe?
Well, what AGLOW is, the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers, it's bringing together destinations, it's bringing together outdoor media, and it's bringing together different companies that are in the outdoor space. And, synergy, 1 + 1 = 10. When you bring those different groups together, if you are like-minded and you are looking to grow, whatever that is you might want to be growing or get better at what you want to do, there's just so many opportunities. Talented people. Heck, some people might look at my tourism colleagues as competition, and in some ways they could be, but I'd rather look at them as colleagues or partners in success. The kind of conversations that we have, the kind of information we share, best practices, it could be a number of things. Working with outdoor media. I bring a lot of outdoor media up to Lake of the Woods, and they don't come if you don't have a relationship. It's because of the relationships that they'll give you a phone call on the side, and you make it possible for them to come up and and experience Lake of the Woods and ultimately put media out. And then, of course, the companies, the outdoor companies. I mean, everything we do in the outdoors, we need equipment. And it's a great opportunity for them, for us, to meld, because we all need equipment. They need destinations. They need people to put the messaging out. So you can see where that all works together. So this is an organization that brings everybody together. It's education, it's networking, it's relationship building, that sort of thing. We're bidding on the we've hosted the AGLOW annual conference like we're sitting at today in Gaylord, Michigan. Lake of the Woods has hosted it twice in 2008 and also in 2017. And we're bidding to get it again against a couple of other destinations, and we're looking to try to get it in 2023. But again, there's competition for it, and the reason there's competition is because it's valuable.
Did you get to shoot some of those air guns?
I did. I shot an air gun. I'll tell you what, those air guns, number one, they're so powerful. They're taking, they're in some states, I don't think it's Minnesota, but I know it's not Minnesota, but in other states, you're allowed to use those for deer hunting. They're taking down deer. We saw a video last night where they're taking down cows. Yeah. I mean, the cows just literally tipped over. Yeah. And I'll tell you the other thing, too. When you're shooting these things, you can shoot a number of pellets without having to recharge that air canister, which is kind of neat. Very light gun. No recoil, no kick. And you want to talk about accurate. Oh, my goodness. I'm not much of a shooter. I don't shoot a lot. And at 50 yards, I was hitting a golf ball very consistently. It really a neat tool. And the other thing they talked about, too, is that they use those air guns for, when they have to control deer herds in a metro area because of the noise. Quiet. And they also need to be effective because they can have injured deer running through a metro area, obviously, right? You need to put them down and be ethical about it, like we all are as hunters. And just really not a lot of neat advantages to it. But where else would I have had a chance to shoot an air gun?
Yeah, I've been hearing about those air guns more and more lately, and I think one instance was during the Olympics, there must have been some shooting where people were shooting air guns, and there was this viral photo that went around the internet of this woman, I think from the U.S. team, and she was shooting this handgun, and she was just kind of relaxed. Her other hand was in her pocket. I mean, she literally looked like it was a Sunday afternoon of plinking, out behind the barn. And she was, this was Olympic shooting, Olympic contest. But because there's no recoil and they're so accurate, you can have a more relaxed stance like that.
You know what? You can. Yesterday I was looking through that scope, relaxing my breath, knowing there's going to be no recoil, and I'm not afraid of recoil. I'm a big guy, but at the same time, it's coming. Mm-hmm. So how does that affect you and how you squeeze and flinch. And you try to squeeze that trigger gently between breaths, and it does change the way you shoot, and it was definitely to my advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else has stood out for you here? I know, did you come across the bridge?
Yeah, I did. Mackinac Bridge. Yep.
That's wild. We had no idea. And I remember when we were mapping this trip out to drive out here, because we had a 12-hour drive to get out here, probably similar to what you had. And we were looking at the map, and we're like, that's a pretty big span coming down from the UP down to Mackinac City. And is that a bridge? Are we getting on a ferry? What's going on there? And then we pull up, and we wanted to film it. So we pulled off. There's a little scenic overlook right before that bridge, and we looked at it. We're like, oh, my gosh. Me and Dan are like, holy smokes, that's a bridge. So as we're pulling up to it, there's a sign that says, and it's windy. It's blowing. The seas were angry that day. And there's a sign that says tune into 1460 or whatever it is AM for information. So we turn on the radio. It's like, danger, high winds. If you're pulling a trailer or a semi, we will escort you across the bridge. And I'm like, Dan, what are we getting ourselves into right now? And it's 5 miles long. That's what you said. It's a 5-mile bridge. So it was a wild experience going across that thing.
Yeah, and you're so high up too, aren't you?
Yeah, very high. And when you get onto the graded part of the bridge, the noise, and then between the wind and my little car, those grates were grabbing, the wheels were grabbing, and my car was and there's not a real big divider between the oncoming traffic, and it was an experience for sure. It was cool.
Yeah, when we drove here, it was calm. Early in the week, and I'll tell you what, when I was driving on the grate with my pickup truck, it would push your vehicle sideways too.
Oh, sure.
Even with no wind. It was just different, right? So I'd drive in that, but then I'd get over to the tarred lane. It was just a little bit more secure. But, it's, I'll tell you what, one of the cool things is no matter where you go in the United States, people love where they live. And, this, AGLOW goes to outdoor destinations for obvious reasons, and it's really interesting to see not only how other people do things, but what it's like over there in that area, how they hunt, how they fish, what species, how the CVB runs their business over here. It's just interesting. You're always learning, right? And no different than going on an AGLOW trip. You asked me about different products or different things that kind of stood out, and really, it's a lot of it for me is this trip anyway. It's the relationships. It's meeting new people. I introduced you to Dustin, and Dustin does competitive shooting where they put on 100-pound sacks and they're jumping over walls and they have to do something in a timed manner and then stop and shoot and be accurate about it. And there's so many interesting people, and again, you're learning, and the learning is growing. And what do they say about coasting? A person doesn't coast down uphill. You coast downhill, right? So either you're learning or you're dying. Either you're growing or you're dying, and that's what a conference like this is all about.
Well, I had a long talk with Dustin last night. Dustin Sanchez is who we're talking about. He's going to be coming on the show here at some point in the near future.
Oh, cool.
And he is going to have some wicked stories because he lives in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
And he lives in uptown in Minneapolis. And he's been there through everything that's gone on in the last couple of years. And he shared some stories with us that are pretty wild.
I had a chance to talk to him, too. He's got the police chief of Minneapolis on a speed, or of Minneapolis or St. Paul on a speed dial, but
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I'll tell you, he was dialed in, and when it came to protecting his turf, he was ready, he did, and even his neighbors came to him for protection. So very interesting guy, and of course he's with Avid, I believe.
Real Avid.
Real Avid, yes, and so he reps a line of tools used in the, I guess, shooting business, firearms business, right? And but they have a lot of products. So, but that's why he's here. But look at the sideline. Look what he does on the side for his fun. I told him, I said, running around carrying 100-pound sacks, that's nothing. I carry 200-pound sacks. Joking, of course, because can you imagine what kind of shape you have to be in?
Oh yeah,
to be doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. For sure. Well, it's been a great experience. Thanks again for introducing me to AGLOW. We got a couple more days out here. By the time of this recording, we still have more of the conference yet to go. But I'm sure it's going to be great. Thanks for the time. And if people want to learn more about Lake of the Woods, Joe, what should they do?
Yeah, man, the shiners are running, fall bites on. You know what? Check out our website. It's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Hear more at sportingjournalradio.com or wherever you get podcasts. Northern Minnesota's Walleye Factory is a year-round world-class fishing destination. The perfect getaway this summer is just a short drive to Lake of the Woods. Fish Big Traverse Bay, the Rainy River, or visit the unique Northwest Angle. To catch big fish, you have to go where the big fish are. Plan your trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. That's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.